your own level of self-worth should be defined from within rather than kind of watered by the people around you.
Don't get too high or don't get too low,
Mhm.
because the same people that are praising you, and you will learn this as you get into your career, or you're dealing with an employer or with a hospital system or whatever it may be, especially dealing with patients. They'll pat you on the back one day, this is my doctor, he is great. And then the next day, you're terrible. So if
Mhm.
you're on that roller coaster with them through this emotions, it's going to be hard to be able to do that, especially when you're dealing with sick patients the same way. One day you feel like a savior when you heal somebody. And then the next day someone dies and you go down in that hole, it's
Mhm.
hard to stay level. So I think that's very important.
Everything that you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear, because fear stops us from doing so many things. So if you can get past or on the other side of that fear, you can achieve absolutely anything.
My favorite is, I give up being perfect for being authentic. And I think that goes hand in hand with what you said, because so many times we want to do everything perfect, and
Yep.
we get stuck in that, trying to be perfect instead of being who we are. And most of the time, if we are who we are, that's all we need to be, right? We get
Absolutely.
stuck being perfect, trying to check the boxes for other people. And that can be paralyzing. It can be detrimental to whatever you're doing, from family life to success, or business, medicine, whatever.
Evaluate what's important to you and then make small steps to work towards that. It doesn't have to involve quitting your job necessarily. If it does, awesome. I'll see you in the entrepreneurial world.
Yeah.
Power to you. But there might be other avenues to do that as well. What would your 90-year-old self do? Choose that.
So there's a leap, but you need to be taking baby steps as well, right? You need to be figuring out, okay, today I need to do this, so tomorrow I can do this. Like you said, when you're sitting with a laptop and there's no boss in the room, what do I need to do to make sure I go from A to Z, and being organized with that? You don't find yourself miles away from your center. You slowly drift away. And many times that's because you don't have somebody holding you accountable, or you're not linked with a group, accountability group, or a therapist, or whoever. Everybody needs somebody that's not just saying yes and agreeing with everything that you're doing, right? Everybody needs somebody to hold them accountable, no matter what it is in your life, on your job, in your relationship. And if you don't have that accountability partner, that's how we see so many powerful people just get so far in left field. And, like you're saying, how did they get here? Why didn't somebody help them? But without having that self-awareness, number one, to actually go to somebody and say, look, I am struggling, I need some help.
Encourage people to listen to their gut, that if they know something isn't right, they've lived in their body and their mind for their whole lives. Nobody knows you better than you, including any psychologist, psychiatrist. Nobody knows you better than you. So trust your gut if you know that you're not feeling your best. Consider who are safe people. Could it be your primary care doctor? Could it be a trusted coworker who has been open that they're in therapy? Just to know that there are other people in your corner, if you choose. Some people want to keep it private, that's fine too. And there are great directories online of not just psychologists, but other people in mental health. So that those letters could look like LCSW, licensed clinical social worker, LMFT, licensed marriage and family therapist, LPC, licensed professional counselor. The letters will depend on your state, but all of those people are credentialed to be able to practice mental health in some way.
If your mind is not in a good place, your body, it doesn't matter where you are, you're not going to be in your optimal state. So seek help when you need it, because there's a lot of mental health issues, that addictions of all different forms that get dismissed or get just pushed away because you don't want to deal with, hey, I need to see a therapist.
Bigger impacts of traveling really come from pushing yourself into these unknown environments, into these unfamiliar and uncomfortable environments. So many benefits that I see from traveling that it's really hard to translate, to share.
I think the best way to sum it up is that if you are not mentally healthy, you're not going to perform at your best. And so taking the time to work on your own mental health and well-being will in turn help you perform better, whether that's on a quarter field, at work, in school, at home, managing your family. all of those things are impacted by how you're feeling as a person inside. And so the more mentally healthy you can be, the better you can show up for everyone around you.
If the athlete is not willing to do the hard work of rehab, he's going to remain stiff and weak and unable to perform to the top of his ability. So one of the most frequent questions I get is, Doc, when will he be ready to go back to play? And they want a straightforward answer, and it's definitely more complicated than that. I can tell you in this time frame you should be getting better, but if you're not showing up to do the work, to do the rehab, to strengthen your muscles, to get back to the point so if I put you in the game, you don't return to me injured again. So I can imagine that when I was going through the struggles of trying to pass this test, and I was praying to God, Lord, please just let this test pass me, Lord. Please put me back. My career is in jeopardy. That he was looking at me saying, son, you're worried about this test, but I'm worried about your life. I'm worried about when are you going to do the therapy to fix your brokenness, to fix your self-control, to fix all the things that you need, because I have a blessing for you that I need you to be ready for.
Even through adversity, you can still be the best. So even through the adversity, I'm the only one that has a newborn at home, but yet I'm the chief. Because they see something in me that I don't even see. They know that I can handle that responsibility, that I'm gonna make sure I take care of my co-resident and take care of myself and take care of those responsibilities. You have to believe in yourself. You have to let that whole imposter syndrome, I'm not good enough because I'm not X, Y, and Z, go. And you have to go out here and get it. When he opens these opportunities, you can't expect stuff to fall in your lap. You got to work for it. It comes with having grit, because it's going to be some highs and it's going to be some lows, and you have to be able to push through it. Nothing was ever easy, but it was worthwhile. And so if it's something you want, if you feel like you're called to do greater, to be greater, you have to get the mental toughness to go after it.
Man, just know that the sky is the limit, right? Like, your only roadblocks are the ones that you create in your mind. Everything starts in your mind, right? Have a positive attitude, surround yourself around positive people, and be ambitious. Be ambitious and don't let anybody tell you no,
I want to be in position to make sure that it's like a baton on the track. Be the first, second, third leg with a smooth handoff, you keep running. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to make sure I got a smooth handoff to my son, my daughter, and my granddaughter.
For me, I say, I think that's the importance of the reunion, is because we can look back. I mean, of course, Derrick, you and I grew up in the same house, but, we had the benefit of, even though Tony grew up around us for a certain age, and even when he went to the city, he still came back most summers. So It was like he was still with us. So, I think that part gets lost if you don't come together, because in this time and age where, unlike our mothers and fathers who were all in one area, we're spread out. If you don't have a reunion, like Tony was saying, the sad part is going to be, the tragedy would be that the next generation is not going to know each other the way we had the benefit of knowing each other.